Today we're going to be making Beizi, which is a pan-fried Chinese flatbread which is commonly had for breakfast in China. Welcome back to Yeast, where if we can make it, so can you, because it's Yeast. The trick to getting a good dough is that you have to have an equal ratio of ingredients by weight. In our case, we'll need 400 grams of flour, 12 grams of yeast, 1 egg, 1 gram of salt, 3 grams of sugar, and 320 grams of water. To start, add your yeast, salt, sugar, and egg, and about half your water. Make sure that your water is warm. Stir it all up vigorously until it looks much worse than the health-crazed smoothies that your sister-in-law tries to make you drink. Set it aside for about 5 minutes or until the surface is thoroughly covered in bubbles. Then you can add your flour and begin stirring it into the yeast egg soup you've made. Here is also where you'll start adding in the other half of the water you've saved. Make sure you add your water slowly and consistently. Eventually you'll be able to knead the dough with your hands. It should kind of be like if you're going to give a massage to somebody that you really hate. Eventually form it into a ball that kind of looks like the size of a softball, though the consistency would make it much more satisfying if you're going to throw it at someone. Cover your dough ball with saran wrap and set it aside to let the dough rise for about 2 hours. When it's ready, it should be about twice the size it was when you put it in the bowl. The next step is to take your big dough ball and break it down into many smaller dough balls. Each one should be about the size of an apple or maybe a baseball. Next, in a bowl, put half a cup of flour. You'll keep adding oil until it reaches a certain consistency. I was trying to think of analogies that would be safe for YouTube to describe this consistency, and it was kind of hard to come up with any. The YouTube safe ones I do have are oatmeal without oats in it, floury peanut butter, or extra thick toothpaste. Add in a teaspoon of salt. When your mixture looks like extra chunky wet bread, select a dough ball and work it a little bit as if you're going to turn it into a donut. Don't actually make any holes in the dough, you're just going to be flattening it out a bit. Then take a teaspoon or 2 of the filling to add to each dough ball and carefully fold the dough back around the filling. Imagine like if you are making a jelly-filled donut the really hard way, that's what you're trying to accomplish. Next is the folding process and how the Beizi gets its many layers. Squish the ball with your hand and then use a rolling pin to stretch the dough out in one direction. You'll want to try to make it a little bit longer than your hand. When the dough is long enough, fold in the top and bottom edges to make a square, turn the dough 90 degrees, and repeat the process, extending the dough away and towards yourself. Once again, you'll take the long edges, fold them into the center, turn the dough 90 degrees, and roll the dough once more. You'll want to make the final form to be about the same size as your hand. To cook your flatbread, start with a lightly greased pan over medium to high heat. Don't make it too hot or the outside of your Beizi will burn while the inside will still be raw. Cover them with a lid and check them periodically until the bottoms are golden brown. Flip them over and cover them again and let them cook until finished. When finished, the Beizi is kind of like a really thick croissant with many layers that are easy to break apart. We like to put ham and eggs in them for breakfast. Traditionally in China, eggs and pickled veggies are the most common fillings. They would also probably be alright with something like peanut butter and jelly in them. Let us know in the comments if you tried them out and tell us what you put in the middle to make them your own. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and give a like if you want to.